I designed 2 new shirts for high class white trash. One of them is the American Warrior, and the other is Fight, Fight, Fight. Both of the shirts are available at hcwhitetrash.com. If you'd like to get yourself one, the links to each individual shirt is at the top of the description. What we all witnessed yesterday, July 13th, 2024, was a near tragedy. Really, it was a tragedy. There was, to my knowledge, at the time I'm recording this video, there was 1 man killed and there was 2 people injured. Yesterday, a lunatic by the name of Thomas Matthew Crooks tried to assassinate President Donald Trump. And thank the Lord that it did not happen. He took a bullet to the ear for this country. He gave up an incredible billionaire lifestyle for this country. He has more indictments than Al Capone. Granted, Trump's are all false indictments. He's gone through a lot for this country. He's doing everything that he can to try and make America great again. And as unfortunate as it is, not everybody sees it that way. But I do, and one of my friends, Mark Henley from New Jersey, he sees it that way. Him and I have become friends through being Dukes of Hazzard fans throughout the years. And Mark was front row. He was only 30 feet away from Donald Trump when he was shot yesterday. I had the honor of being able to talk to Mark. We talked at 4 o'clock in the morning. He had just driven 6 hours back home from the rally. He was tired. I was tired. But we had a lot to talk about it because this is just the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm 21 years old. I was not alive when 9/11 happened. And so seeing this happen yesterday to a man who is doing everything he can to save this great country that we live in, it is a tragedy, but thank God he's okay. President Trump is one of the toughest motherfuckers in the world, and ever since he went down the escalator 9 years ago and announced his campaign for president, he has been ridiculed in media. His family has been consistently bashed in the media. Their houses have been raided. He's gotten false indictments, false impeachment hoaxes, and this man has been through a lot for this nation. This is a moment in our country's history that we're going to remember forever, and this is a moment in Mark's life that he's going to remember forever. So let's cut to the interview and let's see what he had to say about last night. Tell me about today's Trump rally. So you went there in Pennsylvania. How far of a drive was that for you?
6 hours.
Man, and you just drove all that way back home too.
Just got home, just landed.
Man, dude. And you're in the old General Lee, aren't you?
Oh yeah, you know I can't go to Trump rally without him.
Yeah, you can't. And so this was a pretty hectic Trump rally, eh?
It was a lot of confusion going into it, lack of security, things of that sort, which was a head scratcher for me because everything with his rallies are precise, and I didn't see that today.
So you didn't really feel like it was as secure as it normally is?
No, I spoke out about it, and I was kind of like shunned a couple of times, like saying that I was overreacting and things of that sort. But I just noticed there was a lack of security presence that's normally there, and I'm not a gullible person. I'm aware that even though the people that love Trump, like some people don't know how to control their emotions, so that's why you need that extra security to keep people in line, and it just wasn't there.
Yeah, man, that's just insane. I can't believe that happened. So when he came out, he just came right out, and then he started talking for like what 5 minutes, and then gunfire broke out.
Yeah, so like with me, that was like my 31st or 32nd rally, and every time he comes out, I videotape his walk to the podium. It's just something I get excited about, and I'm real consistent with it. And the video I took was 3 minutes long, and
I'm actually gonna play it on screen for everybody right now too. And
okay.
Dude, I mean, you were hyped. You were hyped.
I was, yeah, wild man. I get crazy when he comes out. I love him.
I see you on Instagram, and it's like every week you go to a Trump rally, it seems like,
Yeah, and it's funny because I just saw him in Philadelphia 2 weeks ago, And I was going to skip this one. I'm like, man, it's really far. But then there was something in me that said, we got this race for November. I got to get my butt up there. And I woke up and drove the 6 hours. And initially, I was happy to be there. Like I said, I had my concerns, but
What time did you get there?
I left here at 4 a.m. I got there at a little after 10. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it
Man,
was
so you were there all day then.
all day. All day. And you
That's
see, I'm
crazy.
just getting home at 3 in the morning. So that just shows
Yeah,
you.
right now it's 3:40 in the morning.
Yeah.
So like when the actual shooting happened, what were you doing? Like you did you duck down? Like what was going on with you and the
So,
people around you?
so when the initial shot fired, like my human instinct is to look where the shot, well, it came from, so I know not to go in that direction. And then the second shot, I immediately hit the deck and I grabbed. There was three women on both sides of me. I got the one side down, the other side down. I kept them down. I'm like, stay down, just hang on, like let them do their job. And they did, thankfully. But yeah, and then I got up and I got to see the aftermath. Obviously, President Trump got up and I was ecstatic about that. But then I look over and I can see an individual that caught a stray bullet, and unfortunately, they were killed. Um, so
Have
that
have have we learned the name of that person yet?
no, they haven't released any of that yet, to my knowledge. But it's just unfortunate. I'm sure that guy wanted to go see Trump just like the rest of us, and who
Yeah,
knows?
he's a patriot. He's there to support his country. He's there to support, the MAGA movement as they call it.
Yeah,
And that's a shame. It's horrible that happened to him. And then there was two others that were injured as well, I believe,
yeah, yeah,
in this. And it's
yeah.
it's a tragedy. And the fact that Trump he looked that way, and then right as he started to look straight, he looked back that way, and
Mhm.
that's when he got shot.
Yeah, and thank God that that 78-year-old man has the reflexes he had, because
Dude,
that saved
he's
his life.
toughest son of a bitch I've ever seen.
I
I mean, a
never
lot
seen
of
that
people they
one.
talk the talk. A lot of people talk the talk, and they're like, "Oh, I'm a tough motherfucker." Trump's a gangster, man.
Yes.
Trump's a fucking gangster. He
Anybody
has a
else would have,
mugshot and a fucking now a gunshot wound. He's a
yeah,
gangster, man.
the gangster, man. I mean, anybody else, I don't give a shit who it is. They would have got shot like that. They would have rolled down, got out the way, which is fine. There's no problem with
Hmm.
that. I'm not going to call them a coward, but for
Because I
him
mean,
to
that's a natural instinct. It's like, oh shit, danger, hide,
exactly. Yep, exactly. But for him to get up and say, fight, fight,
fight.
fight.
I loved it.
And that, oh man, that was just like, we have to keep doing it. But I'm just thankful that this man has angels watching over him, because 1 inch in that bullet is taking his life. And then there's a lot of other variables with that, which we don't want.
Yeah, man. For anybody who might not be a believer, I mean, there's no way the Lord was not standing right behind Trump with both hands on his shoulders
Oh yeah.
that whole entire time. Lord was like, man, I'm here to protect you. And what's crazy too, which I've told some of my friends this, that I've talked, because my phone blew up as soon as this
Uh-huh.
happened. Where I was I was asleep, because I've been having a lot of issues lately with my colitis and everything. So I was sleeping. My dad had called me, and I woke up. The call woke me up, and then tons of text messages, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Trump was shot!" And I didn't know what to do, so I just went on Instagram, and then I saw the video, and I put it on my story, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like,
Yeah. Where are
what?
we? Where are
Yeah,
we? I
it
mean,
was like a different world, man. And one thing I want to ask you too is like, what was it like when people were like after Trump got out of there, what did they do? Did they keep you guys on lockdown? Did they let you guys run or what? Like,
Well, initially they got us on lockdown, and Secret Service was very agitated, which is understandable. I mean,
of
that's
course.
the first time I ever saw their guns drawn like that. I mean, they were ready to take anybody out that even looked suspicious, which I get it, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a little intense. Even when they got Trump out of there, they were a little. I'm not gonna call them hostile because it was a hostile situation. They weren't being hostile towards us, but they were just being very alert and telling us not to move. At one point, they even told us to get back down. So
Damn.
yeah, we were following their instructions so that.
How long were you guys like in the venue? Like, how long was it before you guys got out of there?
Well, in the physical venue where he was speaking, I'd say like 45 minutes to an hour. The actual exterior, like where our cars were parked, it took me about 2 hours to get out of there.
Man,
Yeah.
that's crazy, dude. That's
hmm
insane. So, like, do you think like Secret Service dropped the ball on this one? Like, what do you
Secret
think?
Service definitely dropped the ball. There's no excuse for someone to have a vantage point like that to even get a glimpse of the president. I've been at countless rallies, and that's one thing that I pay attention to. Because I'm always worried about him.
Of course,
but in the back of my head, I'm like, we got the Secret Service. Like they're like, no one's better than them. You
you would
know,
think.
you would think, but the ball they dropped tonight is inexcusable. They literally almost lost the last hope that we had
Hmm. For
that
this
quick.
country.
It,
Yeah,
for
and
the
it was a millimeter away. I mean, we were literally a fucking millimeter away from
no, yeah,
from that happening. And you know, like there was that one video of the ginger on BBC. I forget his name and everything, but did you see that video yet?
no,
So there's a ginger guy on BBC, and he was talking about how he was on the outside of the venue, and he was standing by a tree with a couple other bystanders, and he had seen the shooter get up on the roof, and
whoa.
he warned police about it, he warned Secret Service about it. They did nothing. They did nothing. And granted, who knows how credible that claim is? But to me, that sounds like it could be pretty damn credible. And I mean, that's just craziness to me that they wouldn't have taken that threat. And how were they not? The shot from what I've read was 153 yards. How in the fuck were they not up there on the rooftop? They had people on the buildings behind him, but they didn't have people on the building up in front of him, outside of the rally, outside of the metal detectors. Why was that? Like
Well,
that's just
see,
crazy to me. Because
I
Secret
I
Service.
don't
Oh,
I don't even believe that. See, 153 yards sounds crazy to me because if that if that guy seen what you're saying he saw, 153 yards means that that guy was outside of the venue.
yeah.
Um, but you're right though. Like this is the Secret Service, and we're talking about
Hmm.
the president. Like they 100 yards, like shit. Even
Dude, yeah.
a mile, like there just shouldn't be any vantage point. Like I
There should be no vantage point over the top of a president. And a lot of people are also saying that Trump's Secret Service detail is a lot smaller than like a regular like ex president's Secret Service detail.
Yes, it is
And
small. It is.
yeah, and like it should be a lot bigger because he's kind of a target. I mean, really,
Yeah.
he's kind of a target for radical left lunatics like this guy, whose his name is what Thomas Matthew Crooks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This three
Crazy.
thing going on now. It's all these whack jobs and like it's funny too because like I said, this security team. I had to look up the name, but they're always at the rallies. Today they weren't there.
So Trump's private security team wasn't even like there.
Were not there, and I questions, and supposedly, I don't know for a fact, but supposedly the woman that owns that fairgrounds, some sort of dispute, like there's an ordinance and she didn't want them there, but the Secret Service, she couldn't do anything about. But
Jeez.
yeah,
And so she didn't even want Trump's private security. See, that's crazy to me. Like,
it's very crazy. I
and
mean, I don't even think he had 10 agents with him.
jeez.
No, I
I mean,
mean, we're talking about to manage 50,000 people. That's insane.
yeah, there needs to be like full on security, and like that's just craziness that they didn't have snipers on every single vantage point. And speaking of snipers, the two snipers that were situated on the building behind Trump, they had their eyes on the shooter for like a minute before he was actually shot.
Hmm.
Which is crazy too. Like, why didn't those guys take that shot? They should have known right away that's not one of our guys. Who the fuck is that?
Yeah,
You know?
no question, he's got to go.
Yeah, like just eliminate the threat right away. But they didn't, and makes you wonder if this is like some sort of scandal.
It's definitely some sort of scandal, and someone's going to jail eventually
Mm-hmm.
for this. And I think an act of treason took place today beyond
I
that
agree.
psycho shooting the president. Um, someone like almost purposefully dropped the ball in a
Mm-hmm.
way. I'm speechless, man. I just can't believe I seen that.
Yeah, dude. How are you doing? Like now that you're home and everything, you're
Ah,
kind of
I'm
still.
home, but I'm still like kind of brain dead, man. Like I mean, Stevie Wonder could tell you how I feel about President Trump. It's no mystery. I have a lot
Yeah,
of love for him, and I'm very passionate about him, and
you're
like,
one of the most patriotic people I've ever seen on Instagram.
and I don't stop. So
No. Well,
and
shout out your Instagram. What is it?
it's unk underscore Tom underscore cell underscore out.
Uncle Tom Sellout.
That's it.
Mark Henley, man. And you're from New Jersey, correct?
South Jersey, Haddon Township, New Jersey.
Man, and so you drove 6 hours to go and see Daddy Trump today, and
Yep.
it's
And
just
I drive
crazy.
a lot more to see him. Like this
You've
is
driven to Illinois before, haven't you, to go
yeah, I
see him?
driven to Illinois to see him. I think the furthest I drove to saw him was Georgia. Yeah, I drove to a place called Commerce, Georgia. That was about
Damn.
14 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a ways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. But I mean, his speeches are so powerful. It's like,
Oh,
how can you not? Because he's so positive. He's so uplifting. He's
mm,
so patriotic, and just he's always talking about what good he wants to do for this country.
yeah,
And it blows my mind, and I'm sure it blows yours as well, that people don't see that people don't see that this guy just loves his country, and that's all he wants to do is just see his country prosper.
that's it.
I mean, that's this guy's only fucking thing that he's trying to do here is just make America great again. That's why he says it. We're trying to make America great again because it hasn't been great. Everything, I mean, we all know the spiel. Everything's expensive. Everyone's been to the gas station, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man. I don't know
Yeah,
why they
it's,
hate this man so much. It blows my mind.
I know, man. This is the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I mean, I'm 21 and you said you're 37. And so in both of our lives, I mean, you experienced 9/11. You were how old when 9/11 happened? Like 12, 13,
14. Yeah, 14.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you experienced that. I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah.
And ever since then in my life, nothing has really happened at this scale in our
No.
country. And I don't think a president's been shot since Ronald Reagan.
Yeah,
So a
exactly.
lot of people don't know what to think right now. This is
No. This
this
shouldn't
is
happen.
craziness.
And people need to be prosecuted like yesterday. It goes beyond that shooter being killed. There's a lot of people that need to be held accountable for this.
Oh
It's
yeah.
disgraceful.
Yeah, the ball was dropped on this one big time, man.
Oh
Because
yeah.
there's just no denying it here, you know.
No. Someone has to
And
be held accountable, and I mean his Secret Service detail. I'm telling you, man. I know that they're badass and all, but there was 50,000 people there, and that was a huge fairgrounds. I mean,
yeah,
there's probably thousands of acres. I don't know how much. I mean, it's a lot of land. So they dropped the ball big time.
yeah. And the Secret Service usually goes to venues. There's a rant that I just put on my Instagram story about it was Candace Owens. She talked for like 3 minutes or something about it, and she said that, which it's true. I've heard this before. That secrets, and in fact, actually, Jay Leno just did a thing on the Beast, the limo for the president.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Jay Leno's thing, the Secret Service talked about how they go to venues and stuff, and they scope them out a week prior to the
Of,
appearance.
of course they do. So how did they not see that layout? Like, oh,
Yeah,
we need a guy there. We need a guy. This one house that's in perfect view of the stage, they didn't pick up on.
yeah, they
How?
just missed it. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me at all how
No.
they could, how that could happen, how that could have gotten through legitimately.
But
There's
every
zero chance of
other
that happening.
No, zero. And every other venue I've been to, like I'll give you a prime example. Wildwood, New Jersey was a huge venue because
I remember
not
that.
only did you have the boardwalk, you had the ocean to the right of you. If I'm not mistaken, they made like a marine restriction. You couldn't have your boat on that side of the ocean.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, like I mean
Yeah, they definitely had that tied down.
they had it tied down. There were snipers and Ferris wheels. I mean, there was no vantage points for Trump there. None.
And then this one, the one time they leave one open, it's like there's just too many questions right now. It's kind of hard to say considering it hasn't even been 12 hours since it happened.
Yeah.
It's things are coming out. I mean, I know you've experienced it. I'm sure you've gotten a zillion phone calls and stuff, which I appreciate you talking to me about this because I've been just like so curious what the hell happened there. Like,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. And when you sent me that video, like it's weird. It's like almost haunting to watch that video back
Yeah.
of Trump coming out. It's so positive. You're cheering like crazy in the
Right.
background, and then he gets shot. Like
Yeah.
what?
Minutes
It,
after I take that video. It's crazy.
yeah. And I mean, I could probably find out because the full speech I think was like 9 minutes. I think the full like Fox News has the full speech video up, and it's like 9 minutes and some seconds, and
Yeah.
that's from him like a minute before he came out, like as soon as the music started playing, to him driving off in the SUV.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's so much questions right now. It's hard to really say what truly happened, but
Yeah.
and so you could hear the gunshots plain as day
Oh
over all the
yeah. It
noise.
was it was I mean rapid. And like it's funny because people's reaction to it, they were so oblivious. I'm like, that's a fucking gunshot. And then pop, pop, it sounded like a little something small caliber, like a 22 or something. It just
That's what I
sounded
thought
like,
too.
yeah. I
And
mean,
now
it
they're
had
saying
to
it was
be
an
small.
AR-15. Now they're
Like,
saying it was an AR-15, but and I don't even. Right now, it's still too early to really even believe that because before they said the guy's name was Mark Violet, and now they're saying it's Thomas Matthew Crooks.
yeah, I don't believe none of it. Like, and then I'm still skeptical of this whole shooter on the house bit because when I got up, there was a scuffle. Like this guy was getting like beat down and his face was blooded. And I'm thinking that was the shooter because he was at the top of the bleacher, like literally it looked like he almost
Damn.
climbed in, like he wasn't in the initial venue, like he climbed in and boom, like I physically saw like the attendees beating this guy down until the Secret Service grabbed him and dragged him out.
Fuck, is there a video or something of that? Because I
No,
haven't seen that yet.
I know, listen, I was just like, it's crazy because I started to try to video that, but then that's when the Secret Service was like, get down, get down. They're told us to get down again. I'm like, all right, no problem. So then they, like I said, they grab that guy and he's gone. Like, I mean, his face was all bloody. Uh,
Damn.
yeah, and he was in the direction of where the shots came from. I'm like, wait a minute, how this guy get a gun here? And then, like, and 40 some minutes later, I'm hearing this story about this guy in the building slash grassy knoll. Like, it just
So you weren't close enough to the building where the shooter was to actually see like his
no,
body up there or anything? Did you
no, hell
see it when
no.
they had it closed down and everything, or did you not even think to look? You were just more like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah, I didn't even know about someone on a building until like I got to my car. That's what they were talking about. I'm like, are you sure? Because I seen a guy getting dragged out by the Secret Service. Like, I mean, they even had him like hog tied. Like they had him tied
Damn.
up. It was a whole thing, man, and
Man, dude.
no one's talking about that. It's strange.
Man, that's
Um,
crazy. And
uh-huh.
it's still crazy to me that you were 30 feet away from Trump when he got shot.
Yeah, I was right there, man. It was
That's that picture of you is just haunting. I mean, that
it
picture of you with Trump in the background, like that was moments before he got shot.
moments. I turned
It's
around and then
crazy.
Trump was talking about immigration and then he was looking at the big screen because he was pointing
Yeah, he
showing
had the
how
charts up there.
exactly. And I think that saved his life because he turned around and then that messed up the shooter's view wherever he was. And I think it saved his life.
My phone's been blowing up so much I haven't had the time to really sit down and dig too deeply into it yet. Like I've just been seeing what people have sent me and what I've watched a couple clips from Newsmax, Fox News, CNN. I saw Biden's speech on was it CBS? Yeah, it was CBS or no ABC that he did, and and I think that was pretty cool and special that Biden actually reached out to Trump to and he didn't call him Trump, he called him Donald. He
Yeah,
was it was on a humane level, and I thought that was really cool. And then seeing Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and George Bush also speak about it as well. I
yeah,
think even though I don't like them at all, I think it's still very special that they at least spoke on it and that they reached out. I think that I don't know about all the other guys, but I know Biden reached out personally, and so I think
yeah.
that that's special. And maybe we could see those two come together and do something, and maybe see a little bit of unity in this country and try and calm this down.
Yeah, this didn't help. That's for sure.
No,
Yeah,
no, it's
yeah,
crazy. It's
very, very
crazy. It's scary that this could happen in America.
terrifying.
You were also at January 6th, weren't you?
I was.
So did you see any like specific crazy stuff like this, or was this did this blow that out of the
Well,
water?
I mean, it's a tough race because that had similarities. Like there was a lot of red flags. The night before I got there, I noticed that bags of bricks were placed on the street corners. And to me, it looked like they were planning weapons for Antifa, you know?
Yeah,
And then when Trump got done speaking, the clips, we walked to the Capitol. And the first thing I noticed when we got to the Capitol was there was these huge scaffolds. Yeah, they weren't painting. So it was like they set up this stage for us to get set up. That's what I analyzed. I'm like,
and then the fact that police, like I watched a documentary on it. I can't remember the name of it or anything, but it really seemed like police just kind of just slowly they kind of let it happen. Just like
yeah,
this, it kind of seems like they let it happen, and it's a setup on Trump. It's just craziness right now, man. It's hard to say what's going on, but I know one thing's for sure is that I'm praying every day for Donald Trump, praying for his safety. I'm praying for the safety of our country. And Mark, I'm so glad that you're safe as well. I mean that had to have been a very traumatic experience, and so thank God that you and your people that you were around are all okay. Prayers to the families of the people who were injured as well.
yes, sir.
Thank you so much for talking with me for a bit, man. It
My
means a
pleasure.
lot, and
Um,
yeah, just stay positive, man. Stay strong.
I will. We gotta keep fighting. We gotta keep our head up. He said keep fighting, so that's what the hell we gotta do, man.
Yep.
We gotta
His exact words were fight,
fight.
fight, fight.
That's what
And
he
that's what we
said.
need to do. We need to
That's
keep
where
giving him hell.
we gotta give him hell. Yep.
Amen to that, brother.
Amen.
Amen. You have
Thank
a good
you.
one.
You too.
Peace.
Just some good old boys, never meaning no harm. It beats all you ever saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. They straightening them curves, they flattening them hills. Well, someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will.